quiet someplace. And the rule requiring the bhikkhus to observe the Vasa was made by the Buddha because of the conditions in India during the time of the rains. When the rains fell, the earth would teem with vegetation, and insect life would become very abundant. So if the monks traveled around a lot, they would trample on the crops, kill insects, and ruin the people's fields. In order to prevent this, the Buddha laid down a rule requiring the monks to stay at a fixed abode for the period of 3 months. During this time, the lay people would provide them with their requisites and take care of the monks with great solicitude. And even now, even in countries where the rainy season doesn't come during this 3-month period, it's traditional for the bhikkhus to observe the retreat of the Vasa. And during this period, the bhikkhus will devote themselves with special energy to their own spiritual work. The Scala monk will devote himself with special energy to study, the meditation monk to meditation, the literary monk will devote himself to writing. Each one will make a special effort to perfect himself in his own field during this period. At the close of the Vasa, the bhikkhus will assemble and hold a ceremony which is called the Pavarana. At the Pavarana ceremony, each monk invites the other monks in the community to point out any wrong actions he might have committed during the Vasa, and to ask for the patience and forgiveness of the other monks for any wrongs he might have committed. Then, when the Pavarana is finished, then the Vasa is at an end. And usually, soon after the Vasa ends, within a month after the end of the Vasa, a major ceremony takes place bringing together the laity and the Sangha, kind of symbolic expression of the unity of the Buddha's followers. This ceremony is called the Katina ceremony. At the Katina ceremony, the laity offer new robes to the monks who have observed the Vasa retreat. And they also bring other goods that might be needed at the temple or monastery. The Katina is almost always a very cheerful, colorful affair, which helps strengthen the bond of unity between lay people and the Sangha. All the monks, no matter what their age and standing might be, all share the same disciplinary code, the Patimokkha and the rest of the Vinaya. And all the monks are guided by the same training, the training in moral discipline, concentration, and wisdom. But beyond this, the members of the order divide into 2 basic types as they follow one or another of the 2 careers which are laid down for bhikkhus. One of these is called the Gantadura, the career of books, the path of study. The other is called the Vasadura, the career of practice, the direct path of meditation. The 2 careers are not absolutely exclusive. Ideally, there should be a certain synthesis of the 2, and often we find that monks who follow the study of scriptures usually do some daily meditation, while monks who follow the path of practice often have some proficiency in the scriptures. But generally there's a tendency for specialization. Some monks emphasize the Pariyatti Dhamma, the study of the scriptures. Other monks emphasize Patipatti Dhamma, the practice of meditation. And monks following the 2 careers generally live in different regions. The monks who follow the career of study usually live in the cities, towns, and villages, while the monks who follow the way of strict practice usually live in the more remote areas, in the forests. This division is not so sharp, since sometimes even in the busiest city monasteries you might find monks who are devoted fully to meditation, while occasionally there are forest monasteries in which there are scriptural specialists. But the regional division between town and forest generally holds valid. The main task of the monks following the career of books is to study, teach, and expound the scriptures of Buddhism. In the Theravada tradition, the main scriptural authority is the Tipitaka, the 3 baskets of doctrine set down in the ancient Pali language. These 3 baskets are the Vinaya Pitaka, the book of monastic discipline, the Sutta Pitaka, the collection of the Buddha's discourses and the discourses of great disciples, and the Abhidhamma Pitaka, the collection of philosophical, psychological treatises. And those monks who specialize in study will make it their aim to learn these scriptures as best as possible. And to learn the scriptures for the Buddhist monks in this tradition doesn't mean simply to have read the books, but what's specially stressed is memorization. In fact, for the first 400 years, the scriptures of the Tripitaka were not written down at all, but they were transmitted from teacher to pupil by way of memorization. And even today, though books are available, memorization is still emphasized. So those bhikkhus who follow the way of study will spend a great amount of time memorizing the texts, learning their meaning thoroughly, studying the commentaries written about them, and then when they gain some proficiency in study, they will take on the task of teaching others, of giving sermons and lectures, of training younger monks in the scriptures. And since the study bhikkhus live in the vicinity of the towns, villages, and cities, it is these bhikkhus who come in closest contact with the laity and thus participate in various religious rites of domestic life. Unlike the Christian monks, the Buddhist monks are not completely secluded from contact with the lay world, but they interact with the laity on just about all the key occasions of daily life, from birth to death. The main types of involvement of the Sangha with the laity are meal invitations, the chanting of suttas, and preaching. Dana, the offering of food to monks, is a great source of merit for lay people. So often a family or a group of town people will invite a number of monks to their home for an alms offering. This will often be followed by a short sermon and then by the chanting of benedictions by the monks. In addition, special chanting sessions are also held from time to time. A group of monks will be invited to chant special